Derby Wars, racing's biggest contest site, is now even bigger with more than 200 games every day. Check out Survivor, Derby Wars' hottest new game. It's fun, easy to play, and for just $4 you could win $1,000. Just pick a horse to finish first, second, or third and advance to the next race. With daily payouts and games starting every hour, you'll see why fans are racing to play Survivor.
Welcome to another edition of HorseCenter, everyone. I am Brian Zipsey, and as you can tell, I'm no longer in Saratoga. I'm back in Louisville, Kentucky. My co-host to the East Coast is with me, though, again this week. How are you today, Matt?
I'm good, Brian, and as you can tell, I'm no longer in Saratoga, and I'm back in New Jersey.
What a sad state of affairs. We're no longer in Saratoga. Matt, I'm headed to the Arlington Million this week, so not all is bad. I hope you're headed to the track this week as well.
I will do my best.
Go for it. Hey, Matt, we got a lot to talk about once again. I don't know if anyone knows. I keep this pretty hidden. I keep this pretty secret, close to the vest. But my favorite horse in training the last, probably since Rachel Alexandra retired, is a gray colt named Frosted. Waiting for people to be surprised. Frosted. And Matt, he ran another good race, another very good race. It was the Whitney Handicap, the historic Whitney. 2 big Grade 1 wins in New York, Belmont, Saratoga. This time 2 turns. Saratoga, I was there. It was fun. What'd you think of Frosted in the Whitney?
I thought it was a terrific performance, and what I liked the most, Brian, was that he won the race the way a lot of very, very, very good horses have won races in the past, in that he kind of did it on his own, and Rosario was on his back and let him do what he wanted to do, which was go out front and take control of the race. And Joel sat kind of chilly on him all the way around, and he went fast, Brian. He went very fast, but it was a powerful, fast performance as I described it. That was my immediate reaction. 109 and change, coming around the turn into the stretch, Rosario was still just sitting on him without any concern about being short, and they just cruised to a very impressive victory.
Yeah, Matt, I for a second there, I thought you were going to say he did it the way that plenty of horses have been beaten. This is not the best of Frosted, I don't think, at least as far as a running style goes. Now, what I mean by that is Saratoga can be a tiring racetrack. And for him to go in 109 and change and be pressured early, Noble Bird was on his flank. Upstart very early in the race was there. So it was a pressured 109 and change. Horses very rarely, frankly, win at Saratoga that way. So for him to do that and then pull away pretty easily under very little encouragement from Joel Rosario was a pretty big deal. Now, moving forward, what I'm going at here, folks, is that I don't think that's Frosted's best style. I don't think that Frosted would employ those same tactics, say, in the Breeders' Cup Classic 10 furlongs at Santa Anita. Now, I don't want him too far off the pace, but I think Frosted was ridden like a 1-2 shot in the Whitney. In other words, like you said, Joel thought he had the best horse. He knew he had the best horse, and he kind of let him do it. He kept him out of trouble by going right to the lead, despite the fast fractions. But I want to see Frosted sitting 3rd or 4th in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
I think that that's the kind of move that he's going to need because, there's going to be good pace in the Classic out there at Santa Anita, and I think he has the versatility to be able to run that style.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm saying too, Matt, is I don't think this was even the best Frosted because I don't think it was the race that tactically set up for him the best. But Rosario knew he had the win, and he just let him do his thing out of trouble. That's fine. Hey, Matt, I moved Frosted up to number 1 on my top 10 poll. Matt and I are both 2 of the people that submit NTRA top 10 polls every week. And, as much as I like Frosted, I try to stay unbiased with important things like this. But I honestly think that no one would have beaten Frosted in the Met Mile. And I really don't think the second horse on my list would have beaten Frosted in the Whitney. Of course, that's California Chrome. California Chrome is 4 for 4 this year. Frosted only 3 for 4. California Chrome beat Frosted in their only meeting. That was in the Dubai World Cup. Of course, not in the country, but certainly Chrome was the best horse that day. So it's not the easiest justification for me, but I think those two big races, the Met Mile is a big race, the Whitney is a big race. California Chrome hasn't won a big race in America in that there were no Grade 1s that he's running yet in America. He's only running one Grade 1 this year. That was the Dubai World Cup. And I think Frosted has taken it a level farther. I don't think the Dubai World Cup was his best race. They're 1A and 1A in my book, Matt. But right now, I think Frosted is the best horse in America. That's why I put him 1 and Chrome 2. How about you?
I think I agree with almost everything you said, Brian, except that I left Chrome in the number 1 spot. My feeling is that he's been the top-ranked horse. He's been the best horse this year. And for Frosted to claim the number 1 spot, he's going to have to beat California Chrome, or California Chrome is going to have a bad loss between now and the Breeders' Cup. I don't want to rain on your Frosty parade here, Brian, but I think California Chrome is a better horse a tiny bit right now. He's a little older. He's a little more experienced. He's going to be on his home field for the Classic. If I had to pick right now, this is me, Brian. I'm picking the West Coast horse. I know you didn't expect to hear that, but right now I expect California Chrome to win the Classic, and he's in my number 1 slot.
That's fine, Matt. You're in the majority. I'm in the minority. Frosted did move up to number 2 in the NTRA poll after his Whitney. I was one of only 6 voters to have Frosted number 1. Chrome is still a clear number 1. Frosted passed Tepin for number 2. And Matt, you told me before the Met Mile that you thought Noble Bird was better than Frosted, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Did I say that? I didn't mean to.
I'm not sure that I said that. I thought... yeah, as I tweeted, I'm a sucker for Noble Bird.
Noble Bird. Okay. Matt, the rest of my top 10, I have Tepin 3, Songbird 4, Flintshire 5, and I think that's exactly the same as you. We start differing 6 through 10, where I say Exaggerator is the best 3-year-old colt in the country right now with 3 really big wins is 6. I have Dortmund in the top 10. Now, this is difficult because if it's how much they have accomplished so far this year, I can't justify Dortmund being in the top 10 with 1 race, finishing second to California Chrome. But I thought it was such a big performance, and I am looking forward to the year. I think the Breeders' Cup Classic is really going to decide everything between Frosted, California Chrome, and maybe Dortmund, and maybe Beholder. But right now I have Dortmund number 7, Beholder 8. Nyquist, I moved back into my top 10. The Haskell was disappointing, but he's accomplished enough to certainly have a place in my top 10 this year. And Stellar Wind is 10. You have a little bit different from 6 to 10, I think.
Yeah, the rest of our top 10s are not too much different. The only difference is with Dortmund, and I think you explained the way I was thinking. I need to see him have a nice win before he's going to get into my top 10. I know he's knocking heads with the good ones, but I need to see him get a win to get in there. And instead of having Dortmund in my top 10, I put Catch a Glimpse in my number 10 slot because what she's accomplished has been fantastic. But I've got Nyquist in there, Stellar Wind, Exaggerator is my top 3-year-old male also. So we're pretty similar in there. I'm a little concerned about Nyquist at this point with him going off to the farm and getting treatments and O'Neill being a bit wishy-washy. I wasn't surprised to hear him say that Pennsylvania Derby might be his next race. That was no surprise to me. He was never going to the Travers, and he was never going to knock heads with California Chrome. I don't care what happened in the Haskell. So I'm a little concerned about Nyquist, but from all that he's accomplished right now, he deserves to be in the top 10.
Yeah, Melatonin right now for both of us folks is the odd horse out. I guess part of my reasoning was he is sick right now. Who knows how and when he'll come back. Melatonin does have 2 big wins this year. FNX beat him in Arkansas. I don't think Melatonin's as good as Dortmund, Beholder, or certainly Frosted in California Chrome. So it was a little easier for me to keep Melatonin out of the top 10 with his sickness. Catch a Glimpse is just hard to keep out of the top 10. I wish it was a top 12 for those reasons. Catch a Glimpse has been marvelous, of course, running against 3-year-old turf horses. Matt, some of the other big races this week, we should talk about Cupid. Cupid got an interesting ride. He was on the rail, which wasn't the place to be, but Bejarano didn't keep him on the rail for long. It was a strange-looking, easy 4-length wiring of the West Virginia Derby.
Yeah, it turned out that Cupid was the only bigger name horse that showed up in the race. He got out in front, and folks, when you're watching the replay, you'll see on the screen behind Cupid was long shot, long shot, long shot, and it kind of played out that way all the way around the track and turning for home. Bejarano had clearly heard the message, which was stay off the rail, and he did there. It was way, way, way out and coasted home. Sudden breaking news, Forever Mo, none of those horses ran a lick, and it was an easy win for Cupid. Bob Baffert seems to like to come along and sweep up the big bucks in these mid-major derbies around the country.
Yeah, he's won 3 Grade 2s in his last 5 races. He had some disappointment there at Arkansas Derby Day, and then, of course, the Easy Goer. But now the Rebel has been validated and then some, I think, by the Indiana Derby recently, and wheeling right back for the West Virginia Derby. Cupid's a nice horse, not a Grade 1 horse that neither Matt or I feel like deals with Exaggerator well, or Nyquist, or, of course, the Philly Songbird. But he might have more of these type of wins in him. He's a nice speed horse. Interesting to see a horse wire a race while going about 9 wide on the far turn, but that's what he did. The rail was dead at Mountaineer. We'll move on. Paula Queen, Matt, unfortunately, I loved it. I love Gustavo Delgado, the Venezuelan. I told Matt earlier in the week, I think I turned to Matt and said he's going to win some big races in America. Little did I know that Paula Queen was going to do it on Saturday in the test. Of course, I used her as a long shot on my tickets in the Kentucky Oaks and the Acorn, and got offered just in time for her to win the test at 55-1, Matt.
Yeah, what did I text you immediately after the race, Brian? I said, tell me you used that horse, because when we were in Saratoga, we were walking up the stairs by the clubhouse boxes. You saw trainer Delgado there, and you two said your hellos, because I know you guys are buddies. But getting back to something you were saying earlier about Frosted and running on the lead in fast fractions at Saratoga, the test is a perfect example of why that's so tough, because in the test, the horses went out early off the tracks, and Carina setting super fast fractions, and heading into the turn, Lewis Bay joined in to make it even faster. And like you said, Brian, you don't run fractions like that at Saratoga and survive at the wire. And that's exactly what happened, as Paolo Queen picked up the pieces at 55-1, exploded the tote board. Big win for a good guy, trainer Gustavo Delgado.
Paula Queen is a big, good-looking filly. I was hoping that she would do something big. I kicked myself after the race for not including her on my tickets. Yeah, it was a classic case of burning up the favorites. They went at it. Off the tracks, didn't have to go with Carina that fast. It was 43-2. 43-2. That's thoroughbreds don't run much faster off the tracks. Took the race to Carina. I guess they figured that was the only filly they had to beat. They were wrong, because they beat themselves. Off the tracks, Matt, by the way, off the tracks, Carina finished up the track. Off the tracks, ran a hell of a race. She was within a length at the wire. She was giving Lightstream a really hard time to get by her. Paula Queen swooped them both late, but off the tracks ran a huge race to be that close to the victory after the fractions. So off the tracks remains a filly that I think highly of.
Yeah, I hope that this race doesn't take too much out of her.
That's right. It looks like Songbird has not had too much taken out of her after her big win in the Coaching Club American Oaks. She had a beautiful work. The social media was buzzing this morning about Songbird's work and her gallop out. She just kept going fast and smooth and easy. Who's going to test her in the Alabama, Matt? I go Maggie Go, maybe?
Yeah, Delgado's talking about running his horse back and hoping to get a second place check from a big purse there. But I guess Songbird's kind of like you and I, Brian.
How do you mean, Matt?
She loves Saratoga. She's just thriving up there.
Thriving at Saratoga? Well, she thrives everywhere, Matt. She's that good. Tepin, I think it was Dave Grenig of DRF announcing that Tepin will, in fact, skip any start at Saratoga. She'll go straight to the Woodbine Mile. She's getting a little extra time after her trip overseas.
Yeah, I think you and I got a little bit of a tip-off from that from Norm Cassie when we were talking to him at his barn last week.
Yeah, it seems like that's what he wanted to do. Matt, Summer Revolution looked really good, a young 3-year-old that ran on Whitney Day. But the most impressive young horse I think I saw all weekend was the 2-year-old at Del Mar. It's a son of the young Smart Strike sire Dominus. His name is Straight Fire, and he's owned in partnership by Jim Rome, LNJ Foxwoods. Looks like a real deal here.
Yep, another impressive 2-year-old debuting out in California.
Yeah, Straight Fire just won his maiden. It was 114 and change. It was his second start after running second to a good horse. I don't know that I've seen a better looking 2-year-old so far this year. Matt, I'm going to be at the Arlington Million. I mentioned that C. Khaleesi for Schwartz and Brown is my possible single of the big stakes. But as always, Arlington will have a gaggle of nice turf stakes with a very international flavor to them on Saturday.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many of those races Chad Brown can pick up.
He might win one, or maybe less, or maybe more. We'll see. Chad Brown's the turf trainer to beat for sure these days. All right, Matt, next week, wow, we got Hall of Fame inductions this week. There's a couple of fillies and mares that we should probably mention by the name of, who are they again?
I guess it's only fitting that the duo of Rachel, Alexandra, and Zenyatta get into the Hall of Fame on the same year.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I wish I could be there for that ceremony. And then we'll be talking about Pacific Classics soon enough. Folks, thanks again for watching HorseCenter. As always, we're brought to you by the best contest site in the business. That's Derby Wars. Matt, we need to say goodbye to someone today, don't we?
We sure do. Our producer, Ember Marr, is moving on to a new position, and we're going to miss her. We couldn't have gotten HorseCenter off the ground and to its current status without Ember Marr. Good luck, Ember.
Ember, you will be missed. Thank you for everything, and best of luck in all your endeavors. I think Brett Workman's coming in next, Matt. Good luck.
Yes.
See you next week, folks.